Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the CheeseHead Connection podcast. I am your host, Chris Wilson, and today we will break down the preseason game between the Green Bay Packers and the Denver Broncos. Who stood out, who made a case to make this roster, and who maybe not so much. And we'll also go over a couple of PFL grades, a couple of key players in my mind that are moving up the roster charts, in my opinion. And we will also talk about our kicker. Once again, Trey Smack going 4 for 4 with the long of a 59-yarder that could have been good from way longer than 59. But before we get started, thank everybody for watching. Thank everybody for listening. I'll ask for those who are not subscribed to please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you won't miss any new episodes of the Cheese Connection podcast. And those of you listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcast from, make sure you follow the CheeseHead Connection podcast and just make sure to download every episode so you won't miss out on new episodes or prior episodes of the CheeseHead Connection podcast. Now that we got that out the way, let's start off with week 2 of the preseason. Green Bay Packers go into Mile High Stadium and beat the Denver Broncos 33-13. Jordan Love was 5 for 7, 56 yards and a touchdown. Passer rating of 134.5. Only played one drive. PFF grades for Love, it was an 81.7 overall and an 80 passing grade, albeit, of course, one drive. The offense looked really good in the first drive. Jacob Monk kind of had a penalty, and he kind of looked kind of shaky in the pass rush game. But as far as the run blocking went, it looked like that he was solid. I see that Aaron Banks did not play again, and Jagger Burton started at left guard. He looked solid. I think he played a couple of series in this game. We'll go over all those PFF grades in just a second. But for the most part, didn't seem like it was too much pressure coming from the left side like it was from the right side. I think one play I saw, I want to say it was the 3rd and inches, looked like it was kind of a miscommunication on the line. And it looked like Morgan and Burton tried to block the same defender, which had a free release on a defender to come, and Love had to pretty much throw it in the ground. And of course, on the next play, they made it on 4th down. But other than that, seemed like it was pretty good. I know the offensive line is a big question mark right now for us. But we're trying to figure out who's going to be there, who is healthy enough to start. If they're healthy enough, should they start? Because they haven't been getting any work, and it's a lot going on the offensive line. You had a right guard that we thought was going to start, going to right tackle. So looked like he is definitely the bag up right tackle, and he kind of, again, didn't look too good to me. This person meaning Anthony Belton. Yeah, man, all I can say at that point is he's a work in progress, and hopefully if they want him to be the right tackle, which it looked like that's where he's at, that's where he's getting the work at, especially with Zach Bako-Bawele trying to work himself all the way back into full strength. And I'm pretty sure the Packers are being extra precautionary with him in these preseason games, along with Banks to a certain degree. But, I mean, yeah, he's not looking too hot at right tackle, in my opinion, right now. And from the notes that I've been hearing in practice, he's not been doing pretty good as well. I know it was a situation that he got ran over a couple of times, and I think one ended up getting Barron Sorrell kicked out of practice. So, I mean, yeah, and then the next day, I mean, he got ran over again. It's not been a good camp for Anthony Belton, just to keep it short and to keep it as polite as possible. It hasn't been a good camp for Anthony Belton, and Jacob Monk seems like he on the right track to get that right guard spot. This game was kind of up and down. Like I said, the run blocking looked good, and the grades will show that as we'll go over in a minute. But the pass blocking was kind of high. But limited action, continue to practice. I mean, it's going to be a interesting situation at the guard spot. That's all I can say on that. But overall on the drive, as the drive with all the starters in, majority of the starters in, drive looked good. You know what I'm saying? Drive looked real good. Jordan Love looked comfortable. Matthew Golden with a 4th down catch. The throw, very, very good throw on 4th down. He kind of was rolling out to the right, kind of drifted back left and just threw it right in between in that sweet spot for Golden as he was coming across the field. It was a nice play. I mean, it wasn't nothing that was just spectacular, like, oh my God, but for a preseason and just seeing that the timing, it seems like the timing is already there now. And it's only going to get better over the course of the season. So, I mean, just to see that, it seems nice. Golden seems like he seems like a different player. And that might not even be fair to say because we didn't see as much as we would like to see from him last year. So he's probably the same player, but I'll try to rephrase that because I don't want to say he looks like a different player when we really didn't see him like that last year. I'll say all the tools that everybody was going into the draft saying about Golden, it seems like it's coming out this year because he has a bigger role. And I think Matthew Golden is going to be really, really nice. I mean, and Love seems like he's very comfortable with him. So Love looks like he's comfortable. Love looks like he's ready. I mean, if Jordan Love was not to play another snap in the preseason, and I don't think it's going to happen because like they got joint practices with Arizona. So you're pretty much practicing against the starters all week. So why playing the game? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I know game speed and practice speed is two different things. You can't get touched and all this, but as far as just trying to figure out what they running, against a different opponent, just having a different look because you're not going against your defense, going against a different style of defense. You don't know what's coming or whatever. You get all you need in practice, which I'm pretty sure you will. Look, Jordan ready, man. The preseason games for Jordan, preseason games for Watson, preseason games for Golden at this point, because we already know they're the wide receiver and the quarterback. It's just about getting timing down and getting in the rhythm in an in-game situation, just, working the dust off. So I think he did enough of that, and it's crazy because they only played 2 drives, but especially with them doing a joint practice against the Cardinals next week, I mean, you should be able to see what you need to see. And I think really because you're going to have a lot of decision at the backside of the roster, especially at wide receiver, you probably don't play your starters and you just let the backup, second, third string, fringe roster guys just go out there, battle it out, see if they can make one last impression to see if they can get on the 53-man roster or the practice squad and try to avoid getting cut all the way from the squad. So, like I said, yeah, look good. One drive. You know what I'm saying? The line looked decent. Really, like a couple of miscommunication, the false start. But for the most part, they looked good. Marshawn Lloyd with a touchdown pass from Jordan Love. Looking like a nice little route out the backfield. Marshawn Lloyd looks like if he can stay healthy, Marshawn Lloyd looks like he can be a complimentary back to Josh Jacobs. That'll be a nice 1-2 punch. Cause Marshawn Lloyd runs. He seems like he runs with power and finesse at the same time. It's just like his cuts is so quick, but it looks like that he can just burst through up the middle so fast. Like Marshawn Lloyd can come out the backfield and catch balls. I mean, staying healthy. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but if he can stay healthy, yeah, we'll get a good number 2 running back, man. That'll be a good change of pace running back. And then it'll seem like you'll have a nice trio because you'll have Josh Jacobs. That's your guy. Top 10 running back in the league. That's your bell cow. He need a spell. Marshawn Lloyd come in, change the pace back. Can run in between the tackle, can run outside on the edge, and can pass catch. And then you got Chris Brooks that can pass catch. And he's a really good blocker on those 3rd and long situations when you need someone in the backfield to kind of pick up a blitz when needed. So it'll be a nice little trio of things. And I know that Chris Brooks and Marshall Lord are not household names, but for what the Packers need and putting it all together, you will have your top guy. You got your change of pace back, and then you got your dirty work back, I call him, the one that can block. You know what I'm saying? Picking up blitzes off the edges and every now and then come out for a screen pass and get out in the open field and make something happen. So, we got that going for us. I kind of like that connection. But Kyle McCord had another really nice game. Kyle McCord in 2 preseason games had looked very nice and nice enough to have folks talking about the bag-up quarterback position. Kyle McCord was 12 for 19 for 118 yards. No touchdowns, but no interceptions. His PFF grade overall was a 66.5. 63.5 passing grade, average passing grades. And why did I bring that up? That everybody is saying that he should be the number 2. Some of the fan base is saying that he should be a number 2. The quarterback that's listed at number 2 right now, Tyrod Taylor, didn't have quite a good performance. He had a 44 overall PFL grade with a 46.6 passing grade. So, yeah. The run grade was 54.6. He did have a scramble for 9 yards, something like that. He did have a touchdown pass to Will Shepard. That was a great catch by Will Shepard on the corner of the end zone to get his feet down, because at first they ruled it not a touchdown, but when they went back and looked at replay, of course, they gave it to him as a touchdown. Well, actually, one referee signaled touchdown, one referee signal incomplete. They got together and then they gave him the touchdown. Then they reviewed it and called on the field was uphill. So great catch by Will Shepard. But Kyle McCord was 12 of 19, 118, man. Kyle McCord is looking good in the preseason. Both preseason games, Kyle McCord had looked it very good. Now, let's just say that Kyle McCord plays the first half of the Arizona game and Tyrod Taylor comes out in the second half. Or better yet, they might can just give Kyle McCord the whole game, but I would just say the first half to let Tyrod play again in the second half, just kind of get some rest. But you could give McCord the whole game. I just want to see if he can do something similar to this against, starting the game, because he played the second half. So, around that time, albeit third string of some friends, roster players that's fighting just to get on either the practice squad or maybe make the bottom of the 53. So the only reason I said start him in the Cardinals game, let's see what he can do against, at best, the 2s. Because I'm pretty sure the Cardinals and the Packers, those starters are probably not going to play, being that they had a joint practice all week. Now, they might play him. If they do play him, it might be for just like we've been seeing one series. So let's just see what McCord can do, at least starting the game against the bag-ups. Let's see what he does against the second string instead of the third and fourth string guys. You know what I'm saying? I'm not discrediting what he's doing, because he looks real nice. He looks poised. He looks like he's not rattled. It looks like he's making the right decision, the right reads out there and all that. You can only go against who's in front of you. So I don't want to just discredit it's just second and third string, that's why he's being good. I just okay, he's good against the second and the third and fourth stringers, excuse me. Let's see what he can do against the backups, or maybe have starters have backups. However, the Cardinals might play that. But yeah, Kyle McCord is looking nice, but the experience, I feel like I would feel more comfortable. Even though Tyrod Taylor has struggled, I don't think Tyrod Taylor has struggled to the point where I would say, okay, he don't look good enough and he just ain't got it no more. We just gonna cut bait roll with McCord and go pick up another guy. Maybe they'll round back and get Drones and throw him on the practice squad so he can get a whole year of training or whatever. Because I don't believe at this time, I haven't heard anything. I really haven't looked like that. And I don't think nobody has picked up Kyron Drones. So maybe they can just come round back on him, pick him up, put him on the practice squad if they decided to go that way. But then it's just like, okay, if Love was so to happen to get hurt, you got McCord that has to come in and hope for you to win some games versus having a veteran early in the season. Maybe can get away with that. But let's just say, Lord forbid, I'm gonna knock on wood, because I do not want this to happen. Like I said, like I always say, I don't want nobody to get hurt. I don't want nobody to get hurt. But it happens. So if it was a case that Love went down late in the season, and if it was a scenario where we might need a game or two to get into the playoff or win a division, and it be tight, because the NFC North might get a little tight this year, and one or two games might decide who's the division champ and who's sitting at home. You know what I mean? It could very well happen. I would feel more confident in a player like Tyrod Taylor that's been a starter. And I know this probably sounds like a cliche answer, but I'm just being honest, man. A player with some experience that been in some pressure game situations as a starter and has seen and been around pressure situations as a backup. Like, he has seen a whole lot of stuff as a backup. And that being the coach and being some eyes on the sideline is key in my mind. It might not make a significant difference. Sometimes it can, but just having somebody there that you can go to, and he might can come and say, hey, I saw this, that, and the third. Maybe you need to, look out for safety coming down on this particular look. Just some insight. You know what I'm saying? Insight on things where you got a young guy behind you. You're the one really giving, he's probably coming to you like, hey man, what you see right there, man? I would have went over here. What you see? Well, look, if you would have went over there, this would have happened. That's why I went here. And they like, oh, okay, you basically more. He basically more coming to you. And you know what I'm saying? And then you get into a situation late into the season, late into the playoff, that inexperience might, you know what I mean, not be so good versus a veteran that might not have been playing very well, but a light switch might come on in their mind like, okay, we in the playoffs. This is for the division, leading the game. I got to go out here and, everything we have been studying all year, I got to put that out here and go do what I need to do. I understand the stakes and I need to pay closer attention. It's just being more knowledgeable, man. To me, I just would rather have a veteran that's been around this time versus having a young guy. And I know everybody can say, well, Malik was a young guy and he did all right. That's true. And it is almost similar, because Malik is going into, if I'm not mistaken, his 5th year in the league. So Kyle McCord is in his 2nd year. I mean, it's a valid argument. I just right now, I would just lean more towards keeping the veteran and just rolling with the veteran throughout the year. But the only thing I would say, if he was to play in the Arizona game and he started and he looked really good against the bag ups, not the bag ups to the bag ups, you might not have a choice but to make him the bag up. And the only reason I say that, because if you put the guy on the practice squad, somebody probably gonna come get him. You know what I'm saying? So if you put him on the practice squad, somebody probably gonna poach him off your practice squad, because he played really good in the preseason. And you got Tyrod, and Tyrod is just basically here for maybe a year. I'm gonna say 2, but that's really stretching it. I'm really thinking he just here for this year to be like a veteran, a veteran, not a mentor, but just a veteran presence, somebody with a different set of eyes for Jordan Love. You know what I'm saying? So if the young man is playing like he playing, which he looked like he playing good, and you put him on that press squad, and then he get posted away. I don't know, because folks get posted away on press squads all the time. One position on our team may be overloading, and then somebody else lacking in that position. Like, man, these guys played good for them over there. They just ain't had no room for them. Let's see what they got. Go and grab them and bring them on over here. That's a risk you running. So the Packers might not want to run that risk if they definitely see. Hell, that's how they got them. They got them off, I want to say, Philadelphia's practice squad. So same way you get them, same way you can lose them. So they might look at it like, nah, we ain't trying to lose them. We're going to have to make my bag up, and we just going to have to get somebody else for the practice squad. So I don't think they would do it after this game, per se. But I will be looking out in the next, I say starting by Monday or Tuesday. If they ain't had no announcement of Tyrod Taylor being released, then they're either gonna wait till after this Arizona game, or they're just gonna roll with Tyrod. But if you hear something about Tyrod Taylor getting released, you automatically already know Kyle McCord gonna be the number 2, and then they'll probably end up bringing back Drones or somebody, because I don't see them having McCord at 2 and then having Tyrod Taylor on the practice squad. I guess they could very well do that, but being that Tyrod is a veteran and he's been in the league this long, I don't think they do that, man. Like that, they'll probably just release him so he can have a chance of maybe somebody pick him up. He can be a backup on somebody's team. So, but I think that'll be the only way I would do it. If he plays very well again in this next preseason game, and he looks like, okay, he's looking really good. If we put him on the practice squad, somebody is going to get him there. He's not going to survive. Somebody's going to activate him and put him on a 53-man roster. Then you ain't got no choice but to say, hey, man, Tyrod, young man came up. We really don't want to lose him. We're going to go ahead and let you go so you can find you somewhere else, find you another team to get on. I'm pretty sure it's going to be somebody out there that need a veteran bag up. We're going to let you go ahead and get that opportunity before it get too late. We're going to go ahead and release him, but we're going to go ahead and make Kyle the number 2 because we don't want to lose. I mean, that's the only way I see. Like, now, a lot of people just like, no, just, McCord regardless. But I think if he plays well, but you feel comfortable enough that he'll stay on the practice squad without anybody getting him, then go ahead and make him a practice squad quarterback. But if you feel like if he overperformed and as soon as he hit that practice squad, somebody gonna get him, you might want to make him the bag up. But that's just me. Another player that I want to talk about, Will Sheppard. I want to talk about Will Sheppard because Will Sheppard had a very good game to me. Will Sheppard had 6 targets for 6 receptions, 47 yards. He had a touchdown, and he had a hell of a catch over the middle from McCord in between 2 defenders, man. Now he had to do a little concentration on that one. It was a nice catch. It was actually a nice throw because the ball got there right before the safety could get to it. It looked like if it would have been a half a second of a throw later, it probably been picked. But man, it was right there on time, and it was right in between the defenders, and Sheppard made the catch. Yeah, it was a nice catch. Nice catch in the end zone, as I stated earlier, with Sheppard for the touchdown. Will Sheppard's overall PFF grade was a 72.1. He had a 72.1 overall PFF grade. Like I said, he looked really good. Isaiah Nair, he had a 67.3 overall PFF grade. He looked good. He did have one drop. He had one drop that he should have catched, and I was just like, man, come on, Nair. You gotta get those. That's a routine throw, and you already in the battle with 2 to 5 of the guy to try to get a roster spot. But other than that, man, he looked good. Nair had a pretty good preseason, pretty good camp so far, along with Sheppard and J. Michael Sternovich. J. Michael Sternovich left the game with what looked like to be maybe a concussion. It was precautionary. I know they didn't. They took him to the blue tent afterwards. He got back up and was about to do another play, and I guess from the guys from New York told him, hey, y'all need to take a look at that. So he did not return. I think he should be fine. I don't know the update on that as of yet, but I think he should be fine. But J. Michael Sturdivant, Isaiah Nair, and Will Shepherd, those three are pretty much, in my mind, vying for practice squad spots right now. Because, like I said, 1 through 6, I think is pretty much sold up, man. Because you know the big three, Watson, Reed, Golden. Then you got Savion at the 4. Me, in my opinion, Bo Melton, Sky Mo. Some people say Sky Mo, Bo Melton, but in whatever order, those two are definitely the last two on the roster. And then you got J. Michael Sturdivant, Will Shepherd, and Isaiah Nair fighting for basically a practice squad spot, unless we keep 7 wideouts. I think it might be a possibility, being that those 3 guys have been showing out in camp, and they have been making plays in the couple of preseason games that we have had. I think it might be a possibility. And how the injury history has went the last couple of years with the wideouts. I would not be surprised if we carry 7 wideouts. I would not be surprised. Now, hypothetical, if we were to carry 7 wide receivers, which one of these 3 do you feel like will make the cut at the 7th wide receiver spot? Will Shepherd, J. Michael Sturdivant, or Isaiah Nair? Me, I still have J. Michael Sturdivant ahead of Shepherd and Nair, and it's been really Sturdivant, Nair, Shepherd, 1, 2, 3 for me. Isaiah Nair and Shepherd, I want to say it's Sturdivant. Nair and Shepherd are tied at this moment, because it seemed like, to me, my opinion, because it seemed like Shepherd and Nair, it's close. It's real close to me with them two. But if J. Michael Sturdivant has to miss any type of time with a concussion, that might open the door for both of these guys to kind of somebody to separate themselves from the other. But that bottom wide receiver competition right there, man, is interesting. And it's disappointing because all 3 of these guys, they have done enough to me to make the roster, but the wide receiver room is so deep. They are good enough to be on the 53, but they're not good enough to overtake any of the guys 1 through 6 in my mind. I wouldn't take any of those main 6 that we gonna have starting. I wouldn't take any of those off for neither one of these players that I'm talking about, Sturdivant, Shepherd, or Nair. I just wouldn't. So, I mean, it's unfortunate. That's why I said maybe we carry a 7 wide receiver, and maybe instead of 4 tight ends, we only carry 3, or maybe we cut another position down. I don't know. They have done it before, so it's not been too many times, but they have done it before. So, I mean, we can see, man. We will see. That'll be a very interesting thing to keep an eye on as we get closer and closer to cut down. So we'll just keep an eye on that. We're going to go ahead and take a little break right here. And when we come back, we are going to see who gained some momentum to make a case for a 53-man roster spot, and maybe who lost a little ground on making the roster. We'll find out who can make a significant jump this season as far as making the roster and maybe having significant playing time, and maybe who doesn't deserve to be on the roster. We'll look into all that when we come back from the break. We'll be right All right, we are back, and now we will go over a couple of players that I think have gained some momentum to make the 53. Not only make the 53, but I feel like these players can make the 53, and one can have a significant role in special packages for the Packers, and one can probably see a good amount of playing time this season. So, the first player I want to highlight is Mark Perry, safety. Mark Perry, number 41. He has had 2 solid preseason games from what I gather. First preseason week, he stopped fire move at the goal line on the 4th and goal, showing that he can come up, put a hat on you. You know what I mean? He does look like he's not scared to hit. He looks like in the games, to me, he doesn't look like he was getting lost out there. I know it was a lot of that in the Pittsburgh game. A lot of guys was seemed like they were getting lost, but he seemed like he kind of held his own for what he could do. And in this game, he had an interception. He did come up with a turnover. Albeit Stidham stared down his receiver and he jumped it, snagged it. Good defensive play. Mark Perry had an overall 84.5 PFF grade with a 84 coverage grade. Now, his run defense was a 54.3, and that could improve, but the coverage grade of 84, overall grade 84.5, his technical grade was a 73. Mark Perry had, to me, beside the grades, I mean, I know I haven't seen too many notes on him in camp, but it seemed like when the game comes on, he looks like he belongs out there on the field. And I know we're trying to see who's going to be that 5th safety. And I know at one time it was going to be, a lot of people said it was going to be like Jalen Simpson, being that he was going to be that, maybe that bag up slot corner to Javon Bullard. And maybe they put him and list him as a safety. But the way Mark Perry is playing, he's making a case. He's making a case to get that 5th spot. He kind of might be making a case to not only get that 5th spot, but maybe the 4th spot. I want to get ahead of myself. We got one more preseason game to go, but I think Mark Perry maybe can leapfrog Catano Ladapo. What I've seen from Catano Ladapo right now, it hasn't been terrible, but it hasn't been good at the same time. I mean, could it be a world where Mark Perry can leapfrog and be the 4th instead of the 5th? I think it is. I mean, it might be very doubtful of that, but I do believe that he's the clear safety out of the safety they brought in out of is it Nixon and Mervyn Kenyon III, excuse me. I think he's got an inside track on Mervyn Kenyon III. And I just feel like that he has way better odds than Trey Dean. I think he's a front runner for the last position in the safety room. I mean, he'll come up, he'll put a hit, even though this time it seemed like he maybe kind of struggled. He might have missed a tackle or so or something. Hence the 54.3 grade on 37 snaps. But from what I see, it seemed like he can come up and hit, and he had the pick. You know what I'm saying? Seemed like he recognizes what he needs to recognize and makes a jump on it. I just think he been solid this camp. In both preseason games, he been solid. And Oladapo, not so much. So, I mean, practice is practice, and the games is games. Some guys is practice guys. Some guys, just when the lights come on, they flip a switch. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure Mark Perry would be the guy that gets that spot as long as he doesn't get hurt, and as long as he keeps doing what he's doing, he should have the inside track to that 5th spot. And there's another guy that's making his way up the roster. Ain't too long came back from injury and has been playing slot corner in replace of Javon Buller, who has been injured. So Kamal Hadden, cornerback. Kamal Hadden looks real good to me ever since he came back to fully participate in practice. Kamal Hadden actually looked like this last year before he got hurt. I remember camp from last year, and I was just like, who is 36, man? 36 flying all over the place. And they were talking about Kamal Hadden. But at that time, I didn't think he was going to beat Kevin King out. But he ended up beating Kevin King out, and he ended up by injury playing a couple of games for us. That's when he blew out the knee. And now he's came back from that, and he looks really nice. And he looks like I know they had Catan over Oladapo starting over that slot corner, bag up slot corner when Bull went down at first. They switched from Oladapo to Simpson, and Simpson was kind of flipping back and forth. He kind of looked decent in the spot. But now it looks like with Kamal Hadden got settled in right there, he looks really good. And I think Kamal Hadden is going to be the guy that is going to be the bag up nickel corner for us. I think Jonathan Gannon Kamal Hadden to be in a couple of the crazy wild packages that we have yet to see, that we probably going to see sometime during the season. And I think Kamal Hadden will be on the field to kind of get some playing time, where they go to all those DB looks, the little 5-6 DB looks, 7 DB looks, all that good stuff, and get a little wild with it. Because Kamal Hadden, let's go over the grades. He had an overall 79.8 grade. His run defense grade was a 69.6. He came up a couple of times in this game and met and put hats on a couple of people in the run game. Looked real strong in the run game. Looked real decent in coverage. Hence, a 77.3 coverage grade. Kamal Hadden is looking really nice, and he got a chance to play in this preseason game. I don't believe I remember him playing in the first one, but he got to play in this one, and he looked really good. He looked good in this preseason game for the action that he got. Kamal Hadden only got 21 total snaps. 6 of those were for run defense and 15 in coverage. And that was, what I'm saying? The run defense grade was a 69.6, coverage grade 77.3, tackling grade 77.6, overall 79.8. So, yeah, I think Kamal Hadden, he definitely is a lot for the roster. On the roster, as far as the cornerback room goes, I mean, he'll make the roster. I don't think he's gonna be all the way down at the bottom of the roster. I could dare say if he keep continuing to play like he play. I know they've been playing him in the slot. I don't know if they've been playing him on the left or the right side. Maybe with being that he runs with the first team with Bull out. I don't know if they're running him at left or right boundary corner with the second or maybe the third team. But I don't know, as far right now, I know he'll definitely get some playing time at slot. But I was saying, if they put him outside, and he might show a little bit outside on each one of them corners, he can probably work himself into a bag up like the 4th or 5th slot on his team. Like he might be able to leapfrog Carrington Valentine. He might can leapfrog Keyshawn Nixon if he keep showing out, if that's how they using him. But he's definitely on the roster, and he definitely would get a chance to play. Like, I think this year, in my opinion, I think that Jonathan Gannon is going to have some looks that we never seen before. And it's going to be some players that you probably thought wouldn't get playing time that probably would end up getting playing time for different situations and different roles. And I can see Kamal Hadden coming in on maybe like a little 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, where you can either run or pass, and they playing them as, I mean, you got like 6 DBs on the field, but you playing them like at a linebacker position, and He got the option if on the run to come up and make a hit, or if they do having to go out and pass, can come out and cover. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that you probably would have never thought would get on the field unless born injury. So yeah, I think you will see a lot of Kamal Hadden, and I think Kamal Hadden is going to improve, and I think he's going to play a significant role by the time we get to the back half of the season, you know, when everything kind of slows down and, you know, it gets real, real gritty. And, you know, you might have had a couple of injuries. You know, you got a guy there that can come in and you can plug him right in and you can just keep on going. I think Kamal Hadden to be one of those guys. Kamal Hadden and Mark Perry, those are two guys to me. I think both of them make the roster. I'm not saying that they're going to be superstar players. I know I'm probably maybe sounding like I'm kind of, you know, over the moon about them. I just think they're good players. They're going to continue to improve. They have good traits, and the traits that the coaches are looking for, what they've been harping on. And I think they just have improved, and they have showed enough to make this roster. And if we so happen to need them, they'll be there. And if you want to build a certain package around the strengths that those players have, I think that will happen too. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I think we might have ourselves a kicker. Trey Schmack, once again, 4 for 4 on field goals, 3 for 3 on extra points. Schmack made field goals from 38, 43, 51, and 59. 4 for 4, 59 for the long. So far, Trey Schmack is 7 for 7 technically, but I'm still counting that third 58-yarder that got wiped out the board because of the penalty on Pittsburgh. So Schmack is 8 for 8 with 2 58-yarders and a 59-yarder. And the 59-yarder, did y'all see the 59-yarder? The 59-yarder hit the net. I ain't talking about just the bottom of the net where it barely touched the net. The 59-yarder hit the net. It hit the net and the net kicked back. It looked like when the high school or college kicked the field goal and the net go back real fast, like the ball just go through the net. That ball could have probably been good by at least 65 to 70 yards. I looked at it. I had rerounded to make sure I was not tripping. I said, hold on, run that back. So I'm looking at the ball. I see the net. I'm like, damn, that was a 59-yarder. And he still had cleared all that. He cleared all that 59. I'm like, yeah, this boy got a leg. Well, he got a steel leg. Man, Trey Schmack booted that thing. The 51-yarder. 51-yarder did the same thing. The first field goal that he made. 51-yarder. Could have been good from about 60-something. 59-yarder looked like it could have been good by 65, 70. 43-yarder. And all his kicks were right down the pipe. Right down the pipe. Right down the middle. Looked as smooth as butter. I'm talking about it. I'm like, yes, yes, yes. I want to see more of this. So, we know Schmack is good. We know that Waylon is good. What about the long snap? I got an interesting scenario for you. Now, Matt Orzik is our long snap, starting long snapper, but he's been out. So, what are we going to do when he's healthy and can come back? Do we insert Orzik Or do we keep the long snapper that we got? I apologize. His name is escaping me right now. So I do apologize about that. But obviously, they've been getting in all this work in practice and in these games. And especially in these games, it seems like everything is right on point where it need to be. So, do you interrupt that and bring back in the long snapper that you need? Or do you just keep the guy you got? Because I know all that go hand in hand in these kicks. You got the snapper, the holder, and the kicker. All that got to be in unison. I know Cam Akers sat up there and made a whole demonstration about how to hold the ball. You're saying the snapping of the ball is important. You know what I'm saying? All that play a role. So if it seems like y'all got all that down pat, do you really want to interrupt it? Bring guy back that ain't been able to get no work in with the kicker? There's got to be some kind of unison between the snapper, the holder, and the kicker. And right now, it seems like you got pretty good unison between all those players. So if it were me, I probably wouldn't go back to Ozzy right now. And I know he's been there a few years and he's been on a long snap. He ain't been no problem. But if you got something going with what you got, and being that, I mean, it's the long snapper, and it don't look like it's been nothing going on the punt situation neither. So I think you just roll what you got. That'll be a very interesting situation to see what they would do once Orchard is healthy. But I just thought about it. I was just like, well, what do you really do about that? Do you bring him back? And then what if you bring Orchard back and then all of a sudden now Smack starting to struggle? So, I mean, I don't know. I think in this case, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what I say. But I don't know what they going to do. But that'll be really interesting to keep an eye on and see what's going on with that. Yeah, but Smack, man, he's looking like the kicker that we drafted him to be. It looks like, as of right now, I'm going to keep on trying to curb enthusiasm, but it's looking like right now we going to be dead all right at kicker. He definitely has the leg to make these kicks. I'm definitely looking forward to him kicking in this next game, being that this is our home game. And I really want to see how he kicks at Lambeau Field, because like we know, he is going to be doing that at least 8 or 9 times out the year or more if we happen to go into the playoffs and get a home game, which I'm hoping for this year, because I really feel like we're going to win the division. But like I said, I'm not going to get ahead of myself. But I'm interested to see how he kicks in Lambeau Field. And hopefully, I actually hope it might have a little gust of wind next week on for that preseason game, because that's what I'm kind of trying to see, how he can adjust his kicks and make the kicks in somewhat of adverse conditions, maybe with a little wind gusts and swirling winds, because you know late in the year when that weather starts to change over, especially in Green Bay, Chicago. I mean, you got outside state in Buffalo, in New England. We got to go to New England this year. Buffalo comes to us, but we got to go to New England this year. I mean, places like that, you know, it get cold, the wind, the weather gets kind of crazy. So that's why I really want to see what he can do in that type of conditions. So maybe we'll get a little wind or something up there in Wisconsin. I know the weather hasn't changed over yet. I bet it's very, very nice in Wisconsin right now. I know that the Midwest heat is nothing like this down south humidity. And it's been heat indexes of 115 degrees down here with no wind. And then when the wind blows, it feels like a big heater. So I'm pretty sure it's nice conditions, but maybe we'll get a little wind. So, you know, a little adverse condition, just the wind, to see how he can handle kicking into the wind, because we know he's going to be having to do that at least half the season, if not more. But I believe he's going to be okay. My guy Schmiggin is smacking them through the uprights, literally 59 yarders hitting the back of the net. We're going to be all good with that one, man. Yeah, man. I think we are overall, I'm feeling pretty good. I feel a little shaky by the offensive line. I think the cornerback situation is kind of shaping up a little bit more. We already know Brandon Cisse locked in. He's CB1. He locked in. But behind him is still a question mark. Will they roll with Nixon? Will they roll with St. Juice? Valentine is kind of falling behind to me in the race. And I think a lot of it is due with the injury and being behind the 8 ball. But I think Valentine is kind of falling out the race. And I think Kamal Hadden is climbing. So, but I think it's probably right now, just being honest, it'll probably be Cisse, and it's either going to be Nixon or St. Juice on that other side as of right now, to me. Which one is to be determined? Me, personally, I would roll with St. Juice over Keyshawn, but that's just me personally. If they feel like Keyshawn is worthy enough to get that number 2 spot, then hey, he gets it. But right now I'm rolling with St. Juice, and there's a few reasons why I am rolling with him over Keyshawn. And that situation just needs to get figured out. Like I said, it seems like Goot hit on the draft pick so far. I know he did go out the game. I don't think it was nothing serious. Brandon Cisse is who I'm talking about. Left the game, and he was on the sidelines with the trainers and trying to ride the bike. Couldn't ride it, but was seen shortly after that, doing some little drills on the sideline with the trainer. Seemed like he was fine. I know I seen a video of him walking out of the stadium after the game, after he took all the pad stuff out. Didn't look like he was limping or anything. So he seems to be fine. But, Packers probably being precautionary with that. But, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good, man. 2 preseason games in the books, 1 to go. We got joint practices all week. I know we're going to have buku coverages. And I'm going to be here to let you know what happened, how I feel about it. But I don't want to just tell y'all how I feel about it. I want you guys to let me know how you feel about the current state of the Green Bay Packers and who you feeling good about, who you feeling not so good about. Do you feel comfortable in the offensive line, the cornerback room, the tight end room, the quarterback room, whatever concern, whatever comment, whatever expression you want to give, man, let me know, man. CheeseHead Connection at gmail.com. You can send your comments and your concerns to my email, or you can comment right here on YouTube. Just let me know what you guys think. But this concludes today's episode of the CheeseHead Connection podcast. I'd like to thank everyone that has listened to the sound of my voice and watched my handsome or not so handsome face. Don't worry. Sometimes I think I'm ugly too. Be on the lookout for another episode of the CheeseHead Connection podcast that will be out this week. We will be covering joint practices, and we will come back with any news and thoughts on the news that was going on throughout the week. And I will also cover the preseason game between the Arizona Cardinals and the Green Bay Packers, the final preseason game of the 2026 preseason. And it's almost time for the regular season, and I can't wait. Thank everybody. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can Be on the lookout and do not miss the next episode of the CheeseHead Connection podcast. Until next time, it's me, myself, and I, Chris Wilson, signing out. Go Pack Go, and I'll talk to you later.